Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Adam Zanolini, and I am the Executive Director of Elastic Arts, and I am delighted to welcome you to the second iteration of the AfriClassical Series at Elastic. The AfriClassical Series is one in which we highlight and celebrate the achievements of African American performers and composers within and beyond the Western classical tradition. In each iteration, we invite an artist or artists to perform, and then we invite them to discuss with us their experience with the Western classical tradition, what their ambitions are, and where they hope to take their music in the future. And so this time we are delighted, overjoyed, ecstatic to welcome SistaStrings in town from Milwaukee. And I'm going to let the curator of the series, Julian Otis, introduce the group.
Cool. Thank you, Adam. During this time of year, we have so much to celebrate. February marks the celebration of Black people in America and the continued call for our humanity to be recognized in its fullness. March celebrates the contributions that women have made to make this world a better place. And April reminds us of spring and summer to come as the days become longer and we begin to see the light shine brighter on our current situation. With so much to celebrate, it's my pleasure and honor to introduce our next guest on the AfriClassical Series. The sound of SistaStrings can't be described in one word, they say. The Milwaukee-based sister duo combines their classical background with R&B, with a touch of gospel influence that culminates in a vibey, lush sound. With thick string harmonies between violin and cello and soulful voices, SistaStrings takes you on a journey. Let's welcome Chauntee Ross, Monique Ross. They are SistaStrings.
Oh, thank you. That was such a beautiful reading.
I'm like blushing underneath the mask.
We are absolutely delighted to be here. Thanks for having us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So good to have you here. And I thank you for making the trip down from Milwaukee to Chicago. We really appreciate you making that journey with us today in order to play some brilliant music, which was just, it was like a personal concert. I was like, hey, come on. But we just had a couple of questions we wanted to ask you, and I hope this becomes a fruitful conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my first question is, I find your music so accessible, and I was wondering what keeps it fresh for y'all?
Okay. Yes. Monique, did you want to? I'm just kidding. I'm laughing. I'm laughing because she had previously looked at the question and was like, that's the one question I don't know quite how to answer. Telling all the secrets. No, but honestly, I really think that it's just everything that we try to do, we try to do authentically. Mm-hmm. And so whether it's picking a tune from back in the day and just kind of putting our own spin on it, or writing something new that really has something to do with our lives or the current state that we're all in, I really think it just has to be authentic for us. If we don't feel it and it's not authentic, it really doesn't resonate at all. I've learned that about myself at a very early age, and like anything that I do, like if I'm not feeling it, I can't do it.
Come on now. I hear you.
You know, so I really think that if anything that you do, especially in music and art, if it's authentic, then that's really the only way.
Absolutely. Like not trying to sound like anybody else or play like anybody else or speak for anybody else. It's like speaking for yourself. And I feel like within that, so many different people can relate to different aspects of what you are sharing.
Yeah.
So that, being authentic. Great answer, sister. See, that's the way to answer that question.
Thank
Yo.
you.
Yeah.
And it's like y'all are able to bring so much humor and life, and like especially in y'all interludes, I'm just like, yeah, because it's y'all, and I get a sense I'm getting to know y'all in y'all music as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully, music is the easiest way for me to share myself with others. I mean, I love to talk and laugh and have a good time, but when it comes down to it, honestly, especially not so much lately, something about this Pandora has got me just really expressing myself in my emotions in a way that I never have. But it was I never want to share too much of myself with others. It was always very protective of self. We were kind of raised that way, right? Keep your business to yourself. Yeah, music has been a beautiful way, especially to share.
Yeah.
Share who we are and what we're about, and if anybody cares about that.
Seriously. Yeah, growing up, I was like painfully shy. Like to do this now, oh my, I could never. But music was a way that brought me out of that box, honestly, really. Which anyone who knows me now, shy is not the word they would attach to me. But being able to, express myself and connect in that way with music and seeing how that affects other people has allowed me to come out of this box or shell, I guess we could say, to be able to share that with others and try to be authentic and fresh and all that jazz.
Yeah, I mean that's the music that you shared with us today. It was full of a lot of intensity and pathos and pain of a deep historical experience. But all I kept thinking about was the joy, was Black joy, and the experience of kind of like being with you in the space and the interludes and just talking with you. It's just such a joyful experience to sort of share that music. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about sharing Black joy with people that aren't necessarily used to that.
Absolutely. I think it's so important. A lot of times, and this is not to take away from any of the pain and the struggle that our people have come through in this country, but our joy is revolutionary. So I'm about to be all over the place. Like in music school growing up, I was classically trained. We were homeschooled, right? Then we also went to music lessons. We were at the String Academy of Wisconsin. Then my senior year, I went to Music Institute of Chicago. Hey, so I was here every Saturday, all day from morning to night. And a lot of times there's, especially in the classical setting, there's a little box everybody wants you to be in, right? And kind of stifling that and whatnot. And for me, in my education experience, towards the tail end of it in school, that's when I kind of got burnt out. Kind of got tired of everybody trying to stifle that and push it down. And I'm knowing that I love this instrument. I love this genre of music. I also love other genres of music. And how am I going to make this relate since I'm in college to be a classical violinist and everyone's taking all these auditions to be in the orchestra? And I knew that my path was a little bit different than the traditional path that I could see my colleagues and all taking. But the main part of what I'm trying to get to is once I got to this point where I had to get comfortable with myself and understand that that's cool, everybody's not about to get it, or really I'm not here to entertain y'all anyway. I'm just here to do what brings me joy and brings happiness to me and my community, and hopefully that just branches out to the next and the next and the next. So then I had to just kind of just be like, I don't care.
Absolutely.
But like, and intentionally be able to create a space and a bubble for myself to feel comfortable, and then hopefully for anybody else who maybe felt like an other to feel comfortable as well. And humor and just kikiing is just a way that I found to be able to do that.
Yeah, you ended by saying exactly what I was going to say. Creating that safe space for yourself and owning who you are, because as Chauntee brought up, being in music school, I went to University of Wisconsin-Madison, and there in the music school, there weren't a lot of other people that looked like me at all. In fact, in the undergrad string program, I was the only brown person while being there. And I feel like you do try to, fit in certain ways and then be yourself in other ways. And it's like very confusing when I did leave college and came back home and us creating SistaStrings and connecting together. It was kind of like re-owning who I am and finding exactly my voice and not trying to be any type of way, just owning who I am and creating a safe space. And I can say that definitely where I am now, like, I feel very comfortable in who I am and how I portray myself, and that takes time and being honest with yourself, really. And having a close community that you can, I'm so blessed to have my sister and us being best friends, because we can talk about a lot of things, and I learned so much about myself as well through those experiences.
Yeah, and then the other part of it is, so now, present day, SistaStrings, a huge component of who we are and what we do is involves music education. And so we go in schools a lot. We both are teachers, and we're both on staff at Milwaukee Youth Symphony Orchestra. I've been there for about 4 years now. And for me, why is it important for this joy, right? For these other young Black and brown kids that are looking now and seeing this, like proud, happy, loud, purple-haired lady.
Right.
That's amazing for them. It opens another door for them to see that they can create whatever path they need to and whatever passions that they have, that it doesn't have to look like the next person's or this.
Absolutely.
So that's the super main important.
Absolutely. And along with being an example for our little brown babies out here, I think it's amazing for the little white babies to see us as well.
Absolutely.
Because there are all these stigmas out here, or what's represented, and it's like you see us right in front of you, you know what I mean? And having that representation, I feel like is so important to change people's mindsets for all these crazy years of nonsense, and just being our true, happy, weird selves. Yeah.
Being Black is
beautiful.
Is a beautiful thing.
Beautiful.
As you amply demonstrate for hours upon hours in front of very grateful audiences. And we're so grateful to you for sharing that with us today. Thank you so much for coming. I didn't get a chance to actually thank you for coming and being with us today. Just because, I don't know, we encountered you in Milwaukee, and it just was like this incredible experience, to see that and to see how it affected the audience. And, just to watch you kind of cover all of that history of the development of music and all those different sources of music, and just kind of weave them all together just like seamlessly, but then also to kind of pervade them with your own energy, right? Like just say, oh, this is what Bach sounds like when it's played by strong Black queens, right? Like, yes, I've always wanted to know, and now I know, I didn't know how much I wanted to know. I mean, it's amazing. And it just affected me so deeply. I started scheming and plotting to try to find a way to lure you to Chicago to come and share with our community down here. So I'm so grateful that you could come and be with us,
you're so
and also take the time to speak with us today about your experience and where you're heading.
Thank you. Yes, I was so excited to see that message when it came through. I was like, Monique,
Yeah.
Oh, that's so amazing. Like Adam, you were talking about the way that you guys play Bach, and it seems as though the improvisation and the composition become one. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about like your arrangement process and the process of coming up with maybe like the different mashups that happen in between songs too.
Okay. Yeah.
I like to use mashup because I love a good mashup.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think our arrangement with Bach started off as just playing around. Like I would play Bach and Chauntee sometimes, but it would be warming up and Chauntee would like harmonize and stuff like that. And it wasn't really a thing until we were like, let's actually make this, like let's play Bach as a duet, yeah? As far, I don't know, arranging is so different. It's so different for each time. Sometimes we're on one accord. Sometimes we really bump heads. I don't know. What do you have to say about our arranging?
I don't think we bump heads as much with arranging as with writing. Yeah, as you can clearly see. She agrees. But as far as the Bach goes, honestly, we didn't do anything. Bach wrote all that. Bach wrote all that.
We didn't write your part. Huh? Bach did not write your part.
Pretty much, it's just counterpoint. It's just counterpoint.
It's
counterpoint with swag. That's all it is. A little vibrato, a little slide in, a little extra sound effects. But all that, like this, I didn't think that up. That's
all the notes I played, Bach wrote.
That's why Bach is one of my favorite composers. I swear to God, some of these tunes are straight gospel. These chord changes that he got, woo, take me in. Yeah, Bach did that. Bach did that.
You imagine like it can feel so stuffy in like a traditional classical sense, but these musicians were actually composing on this, using it as a roadmap. The music is a roadmap for y'all to create something new in the moment for the audience that you have in front of you. It's always going to be a different experience,
Truly.
right?
Yep, absolutely. So I love Bach. Bach's one of my favorite composers, because of how intricate those harmonies are. Oh my goodness, I used to be going ham on some Bach in college, and you can just really interpret however it is. I used to have such fights with everybody about that. But but back to arranging. Yeah. But as far as our arrangements go and whatnot, it kind of just seems like, because Monique and I are very close. We're 2 years apart. She's older than I am. We were kind of like raised as twins. We're the last 2 or 5.
Our birthdays are 2 weeks apart from each other. They combined our birthday parties.
So we did everything together. And so we kind of just, we're very much our own people, but there's kind of like a group mind that's like kind of in the middle, where, and especially in arranging, where it almost seems like it just happens. It's already there. But because there's only one Monique and there's only one Chauntee, it just happens to be unique, but we just, it's already there almost, most of the time. So it's really interesting. I think the arrangements come a lot easier than composing, for sure, at least for me, because I'm used to playing other people's music, whether it's reading classical music or playing songs in church growing up or whatever it was. But the writing part, that's a whole nother beast.
That's a whole nother beast. Nobody else should be in the room when we're writing with each other. And y'all would be like, do you guys even like each other? Yes, we love each other. Yeah.
I feel you. That's the part of the spirit of the collaboration, though, and that's kind of could be a sacred space for y'all too, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's really interesting that, like, so I've started writing more recently, which is something, I guess I just felt a little secure about it. I'm vulnerable, putting my song out there, right? So at first it would be like, Monique, I have this piece, a bit. But now it'd be like, okay, Monique, I got this whole song. Really all we need to do is like, throw Monique's magic on it and then turn it into SistaStrings. But then she want to come in and rewrite the song, and I'm like, well, hold up, baby.
I don't like to rewrite.
You watch yourself now.
Pump the brakes.
This is my baby. I'm like, is it serving the song though?
Okay, because when I write a song and I bring it to her, I'm always open to expand or make it. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I wrote this. But obviously, other ears can add something
of course,
nice on it.
Always.
So I come in very open-minded with my songs, and Chauntee's like, don't touch my song.
I'm very protective. Like I said, it's all new. So first I was like, no one can have it. And now I'm like, only I can have it. It's a process. And,
so she's growing, and eventually she'll learn to listen.
Some songs are meant to share and to be finish collectively.
Okay, see, y'all about to start a whole fight right here on the video.
Someone would be like, oh, that's it. That's that baby right there.
No, but I mean that's the beauty of it. You know, you see how the work comes out of this interaction, out of this conflict, little conflicts and stuff, and then you tell the story. And it's part of the life of the piece that just, I think it really resonates with people. You know, it's like, oh, that's what, and you can feel how it came out of struggle and then it came emerged this beautiful thing. Oh, it's really cool.
Absolutely.
There's a bit of theatricality, I feel like, to y'all pieces. Like, or let me just call it storytelling. Okay. Could you talk about how you all bring her story into the picture? How do y'all bring Black womanhood? How do y'all represent that in your music? I think Her Name Is hits me in a place. And I was wondering if y'all could talk around that.
Yeah, for sure. It's really interesting because, well, one, we were raised around just tons of women. There's 4 daughters that my parents have, and then
we have
my
my brother, but
mom.
he's the oldest.
Yeah. You know, my parents have been married for how many years now?
How old am I?
Tons and tons of years. But that poor man, he had a house full of
They've
women.
been married for 38 years. 38 years.
Yeah. So we've always had strong women to look up to and seeing and growing up, and that's been a beautiful thing. It turned into a really interesting spot around, I would have to say, maybe middle school for me is when I started to notice it more. Of course, we had like our huge family and our base, right? So we were always a little bit different than everybody else. And then we went to a private Christian school that was predominantly white, and there was the group of Black folks there, right? So I didn't quite fit in here,
right, or
there with the white kids, or here, there. Anyway, so it's really interesting coming from that perspective of being definitely. I'm just used to being an outsider, honestly, or not the norm. I'm totally used to that, but seeing and observing folks from all different walks of life, different ages, and different demographics, especially women and Black women, I think really influenced me and allowed me to be comfortable with being that outside way. And then as I got older and started as like songs like Her Name Was and whatnot, turns out I'm not the only one who feels this way. Exactly. A lot of other people do. So I think talking about that and singing those songs and writing about that is reflective of her story, that growing pains and the case of humanity that we all feel, you know.
Which really is difficult to talk about because, I mean, I kind of talked about my personal experience pertaining to that song. And it's like, I feel like it was just even this year that I started to